If you have any questions or comments, you are just welcome now to put them on the chat box, or if you would like to ask in a live mode, you can ask. There should be a green button on your screen to ask to provide the microphone and the view, and I would let you in, and you could ask the question on a live mode. And I see that Yanni is back.
Yep. Out of curiosity, at what point my voice disappeared?
That was on the policy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took it over somehow, and then I went to the.
Good. Thank you, Justus.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think I was switching between them too fast, and Chrome decided to dislike me.
So I don't know. Maybe you can switch to the Google Slides we had. So we had some couple of questions and comments from the first round. We can maybe start off with that, and maybe some other questions will arise.
Yep, these were the questions from the previous session.
Yeah, I can just stop sharing then, and you can go on maybe with the slides.
Yeah. Okay, I seem to be sharing. You're seeing,
yes,
hearing. Good. So here are some of the comments and questions we gathered from the last session on general level about the loading speeds. For that, I can say that there's only so much we can do. Definitely, it works better when you are not on hopping. So if you will try it yourself, it should be more responsive and quicker and looking better. We tried to, with the Finnish GIS team, to optimize already the loading speed so that we are not presenting all the country borders or the NUTS levels in their full detail, so that when we are loading the maps, it should go faster.
Yeah, but I think it works nicely when you're not streaming yourself, so it's probably because of that. So
yeah, the initial loading time to actually get to see everything can be slow, and the more data we add, it could be even slower. But once it's loaded, it's kind of usable for the kind of data quantities that we planned.
Yeah.
What makes this a tool? I think this is a good question. It is not like we're providing the hammer for the farmer who's building a house. This is for sharing information, hopefully between the farmers, or at least between the research community, farmers, and the decision makers on other levels. So the good question was also the process of how to make a new story. At the moment, this is envisioned so that if you would be an interested farmer, you could try to contact WWF, that you have a story to tell, and see how that would work out. Maybe closer to our kind of researchers' everyday view is that there will be another research project. You saw this morning how many agro-ecological projects are there on the pipeline, and there's even more money in research for these topics in EU. So maybe there will be another research project, and they would want to somehow distribute the farm stories or their case study stories through this channel. So then it would be possible to coordinate it with WWF running the global.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the data sources Justus covered pretty well already. On the pipeline, we have global population data, which is public, which is quite easy to put there. In our original plan, what indicators to include, we have a lot of the things that are converted to per capita things, and hopefully we will still either produce them ourselves, or then the work package for in UNISECO will still calculate that stuff for us, so that we could a little bit have also not only the absolute numbers, but a little bit of in different units, this to make it somehow more understandable. So that were the questions that were raised in the previous session.
Yeah, and probably, yeah, we were talking if we can populate more stories into this tool. So there was interest from Canada, probably, that they were looking for possibilities for tools how to share knowledge with the farmers. So the attendee found quite this approach quite interesting, and yeah, so he said he would forward this our approach to his colleagues, and probably we would get more comments about, and maybe more input. So I see that we don't have much audience on our session. I don't know if you, Gerald, are there, or Alice, do you have a comment or a question? Please feel free to write it in the chat box, or you can go live by asking me a permission. I will. Yeah, so yeah, I think I see Gerald, your comment that it would be good to explore possibilities with Canada. I think so too. So we have the person, we discussed with him lively, so we can try to connect with him in more detail. Yeah. Yeah, here's Gerald.
Yeah, I thought that I can also join. I think as long as we are only 3 or 4.
Yes.
So I think if somebody else wants to join, that's perfectly fine. I think at some point I will just have to switch off my camera so that it doesn't crash at my end. But it's not a problem, because if it crashes, it only crashes at my end and not the total thing. So that's good. Yeah, thanks for the update also on the discussion in the first round. And I think that you seem to have quite a lively discussion with, I think it probably was Chris.
Yeah.
Who was in the session. And I think that's a very good connection, maybe to follow up, because Chris is also involved in one of the CSAs that prepares the partnership, as he probably has explained. So I think that would be really useful, and also to get that linkage with the Canadian experiences with agro-ecological transitions. If that's something that can be pursued, that would be, yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, you go ahead, Jana.
Yeah, no, just to add on to that of course Global is a global portal, so it would be nice to also reach out beyond Europe. I think agroecology might be even bigger thing in some other place, although after hearing this morning's presentation, I think there is a lot more of agroecology to come also in Europe, but from the farm material, for example, that I encountered before, I kind of somehow got the impression that there would be a lot of agroecological success stories to be shared outside Europe, like from the developing world. So I think that would be very interesting, and yeah, exactly how to facilitate that is then another question, of course. But maybe some links if there is some discussion about the agro-ecological knowledge hub and how that somehow fits into the FAO knowledge hub, then we could maybe approach the people who are dealing with the knowledge hub here there and somehow suggest that have they ever thought of some kind of mapping of all of this stuff that is happening with them, and if they would be interested. And of course, there's the option of all possible future European research projects. Once they know about it, hopefully we manage to now disseminate some information that this kind of possibilities exist, and that maybe in future there could be some option for just providing this as a easy way of linking your research outputs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see there is a question from Alice. Were farmers willing to share their stories, or was it hard to motivate them to do so? So I know maybe we can all three take a part in answering. So
Sure.
Can go ahead, Gerald. And
you want me to start?
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Alice, for the question. I think we will probably had slightly diverse experiences there across the case studies, I think. I think well, if I would, just from the German experience, I think we took some time to do this, to add specific statements and from the farmers that were involved in the German case study, because that at the beginning felt a little bit like a sensitive issue to do. But I think that there are now a number of farmers that, well, there were 1 or 2 farmers that are now in the story map, but I think there were now more farmers in the case study and the multi-actor group that would actually be happy to do it. So I think in a way there would be room to expand on this and basically to well, maybe not necessarily in this project, but if the tool remains live, to expand on further story maps, on further stories and narratives from other farmers, and also to go down the route what Janne was outlining, I think, in his presentation earlier, to really have a story map that specifically centers around a particular farm. That's something that, for example, in the German case study, we didn't do. The story map is more the narrative of the case study with the statements, with key messages from the different actors involved. So that's something that we could still expand on. But maybe that's just from the German experience, and you can jump in.
Yeah, I think you're right that there are differences between the countries, and in Finland we had kind of easy case because we had a farmer already who had been active in social media, YouTube, in branding the farm with Valio. So they were kind of very open to this idea, and it was easy to communicate about creating the story with the farmer. But maybe he was a little bit of a specific case. Contrary to the German, I would think that I would have more difficulties in finding the next farmer now from that region. So I think it's quite case study specific, and I think we each people who've been involved in the country's case study can a little bit see it from different type of angle. Yeah, for me, I'd say at the outset, the German case study involved maybe the farmers the least of all the case studies in terms of trying to do what I outlined of trying to make it storified from the farm's perspective, while other countries went much further, like the Swedish case is a quite nice example where the farmer is quite at the centerpiece. Even though there's a lot of other stuff happening in that case study, they could still like present it through the farmer's view, and I think that was a very nice example as well. And what about Lithuania?
Yeah, so I think I mean the farmers were quite open, I guess, and probably it's because there were some farmers that we knew from previous. I mean, we are known with the farmers, so we work with them on usual basis. So they were quite open. But what we discussed with Yana between the first and second round sessions is that it's probably it won't be like that the farmers themselves will provide sort of upload these stories to the tool if it's so to be. I mean, you always need to have a facilitator and the one who I mean the farmer can provide the content and his story by words and so on, and he can maybe provide the photos or videos, but there should be always a facilitator who combines it into a nice story and do the technicalities to upload it, because probably farmers are busy people and they won't do this by themselves unless they are really social farmers that are active on social networks and so on. But I guess once they are on this map, and if we would go with the feedback back to them that they're here, you can see your story is here on the map and everyone can enter it and read it. So probably this would make them feel sort of proud, and this is how the I mean the whole tool can be become more public, that the farmers themselves would show to other people that their story is here and they share it with the others. So this is kind of probably it should be a facilitated process, and it combines that the stories won't come directly from the farmers, but once they're there, the farmers themselves can promote them, I guess. So this is how the whole tool and the whole view of many stories could be processed further, I guess.
Yep. The combination of the different views within a story, I think that's also an aspect that adds value. I mean, the farmer is obviously a key actor and should be included in the story. But I think it's the combination of the different actors in that, multi-actor framework that we also want to further build on in order to promote transitions and enable transitions. So, and getting those different views then and those stories, I think that's quite a useful mechanism then really to promote the topic also. So I think I quite agree there. Yeah.